of Vera. That's a fight I would have concentrated on for homework in preparation, getting McEwan ready, because again, I think McEwan sizes up exactly, almost exactly like Andy Lee. He's not as tall, not as long, but he's a southpaw, the same amount of experience, the same question marks. He's, hasn't been in there with top opposition. He's been in there with soft. The same they said about Andy Lee. So this is going to be an interesting night. And I'll tell you another thing. If I was McEwan's people, Freddie Roach, the very capable, one of the top trainers in the business, I would have been looking at what Andy Lee did not do in that fight.
Right.
That came back to bite him in the backside. He was catching Andy Lee with single shots, but he was never putting a second shot together, and he paid a price for that.
So Vera and McEwan underway here. Round number 1. They're scheduled for 10. Teddy, you bring up an interesting point about the comparisons between McEwan and Vera, and it's very much not lost on Brian Vera. When we were with him yesterday, Vera, for a guy coming off what happened to him against James Kirkland, beaming with confidence because the comparisons are so obvious, and all he's thinking back to is what a great night that was for him, and he thinks this is just the second coming of that.
No, you're right, Joe. The one thing that he hopes is not the same. He hopes the ending is as euphoric as it was. You're right. That's what Vera hopes, but he hopes the beginning is not quite.
No, he went down.
He had to go through fire to get himself into position to win that fight. He got dropped. He was getting beaten up in the early part of the fight, but his determination and his style, his looping punches, found the way by convincing Andy Lee to stand in front, to pull straight back, and found the way to be effective. But again, he doesn't want to have to go through, walking through that fire to get there.
McEwan scored moments ago with a left hand. Vera comes back with a short right, but McEwan was able to turn away from it.
See, the physical guy, the guy that's stronger, well, that's going to be Vera. And he's going to want to be inside to use that strength, and he's going to want to, I think, flush out. He's going to want to flush McEwan back and then be able to catch him with those looping punches. That's where Vera, see, those looping punches can be effective when you got a guy going backwards. You can walk him into those punches. Otherwise, they can be really dangerous throwing those looping punches that Vera throws, because McEwan can get a chance to make a miss, catch him laying out there, punch in between those wide shots. And again, you see McEwan doing what we expected, using those legs, in and out, picking spots, and trying to keep the stronger Vera off balance. Good job early on.
End of 1. Right hand by Vera.
Something to look for, maybe a little ominous at the end of the round. McEwan goes straight back and almost gets caught by this guy. Take a look right here. The punch misses, but look at that. Going straight back with his hands down, something that Andy Lee did and something McEwan did in the first round, Joe, but he got away with it.
He did. McEwan had a 24-15 connect advantage in that first round. Was 10 of 15 to the body. He is the unbeaten but untested prospect who is originally from Scotland, but had a desire to come stateside and make a go of it as a pro fighter, and he landed at Freddie Roach's Wild Card Gym in L.A.
He better look out for those right hands. That's all I can tell you right now, because that was the undoing for Andy Lee, who we said very similar situation when he fought Vera, and he was undefeated a little over a year ago. And when he left the ring, Andy Lee was not undefeated. He ate too many right hands. Why? Well, first of all, he's a southpaw. Right hands sometimes land with the southpaw, and Vera knows that. Second of all, he pulled straight back with his head up, hands down, and Vera followed him. Early in this round, it looks like Vera's starting to get that idea with McEwan, that he can get him to go straight back and follow him with that right hand.
And there's a small cut that has developed under the left eye of Craig McEwan.
You see, not much power in McEwan. Again, he depends on his game plan that Freddie Roach laid out for him. He depends on his mind, on his technique. He's got to punch and get out of dodge. Keep a guy like Vera a little bit off balance, like that.
There's that wide looping shot. Vera came out of that off balance. Now he engages to the inside, then they separate.
You know, we keep talking about how this fight matches up very similar to the Andy Lee fight Vera was in over a year ago on our air. Terrific fight. And he beat the undefeated fighter. But one of the things, can Vera physically and mentally and emotionally do what he did in that night? Because let's not forget, since then, his last fight, he fought James Kirkland. We saw the tape of it before. 8 rounds, he got stopped against Kirkland, an undefeated fighter. And that could take a lot out of a fight. So my question is, as we go on here, and Vera has to fight the kind of fight where he's going to take some to get some, because that's his style. Can he take what he took that night with Andy Lee? Does he still have enough left after being knocked out by Kirkland? We're going to find out.
That was a sharp left hand by McEwan moments ago before they tied up on the inside. And there's a look at the 26-year-old Craig McEwan, 14-0 with 9 knockouts. He's going to have a tough test here tonight in Texas against the Texan, Brian Vera, coming to the end of round 2 on Friday Night Fights.
Action from the last round. We talked about the key. Vera should not pull back, because if he does, he's going to get caught. Take a look here. Vera pulling out, gets caught with a right hand. Pulling out again. Oh, the right hand misses, but he's rolling the dice. He's taking chances there. Spitting into the wind a little bit is McEwan.
Round number 3 of our main event. Straight left hand to open up the 3rd round by McEwan.
So, you know, we talked about, we've made the analogy again of the Andy Lee fight. That if I'm Vera's people, I was looking at that fight again, and, you know, don't get hit as much as you got early, but get the same result late. And if I'm McEwan's people, I was making him watch that fight. Don't make the same mistakes that Andy Lee made. And one of those mistakes, pull him back. But another mistake is, don't be satisfied just to catch Vera. Look, Vera's not that hard to find. You know, the old timers might say sometimes he gets insulted if you miss him a little bit. Real game, real gritty guy, but you can find him. And in the Andy Lee fight, Lee found him with plenty of left hands, but he never put the right hook with it. He never put 2 together. I think McEwan has to be thinking about that. If you can land Vera a good shot, don't be satisfied with the 1 shot. Hit him with the 2 shots. Because if you're satisfied with hitting with 1 shot, Joe, early on, you might pay a price later on because you left him around. You didn't take enough out of him. And later on, he's going to come on like gangbusters. And you're going to be sorry you didn't hit him those 2 shots, those 3 shots early on when you had a chance. Well, if you're a Vera fan, you got to like the way he's closing distance. He's not having a problem getting closer to the longer, taller, fleeter of foot fighter. So you got to like that if you're a Vera fan. But you got to do more when you get close. Have you seen what I'm seeing? I'm seeing some heavy breathing, Joe, from McEwan. As though the pressure of Vera coming forward is affecting him a little bit.
Final minute of round 3, and that's what Vera will apply for any other.
And that will show itself. The dividends to that, kind of like putting money in the bank.
Vera went straight back, and McEwan just followed him there and landed a couple punches up top.
The dividend to the pressure of Vera, it pays off late in the fight, not early. You probably lose the rounds early just by putting pressure on. You're going to eat a lot. You're going to catch a lot of leather. You're probably going to lose those rounds early. But the pressure is going to pay a dividend for you later because you're hoping it's going to wear the guy down.
So Vera and McEwan coming to the end of round 3. An interesting main event on Friday Night Fights. Step away from ringside and check in with Brian.